Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. Today's guest is Mr. Miguel Arevalo. He is the packaging innovation lead at Google, a little company, right? We've all heard of. Wow, great to have you on, sir. Thank you so much.
Cory, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. I believe this forum is so important to maintain close communication among us packaging professionals
Yes,
and receive the latest and greatest information. I follow you and thank you and kudos for you, sir. Awesome.
thank you. Thank you so much. It was an honor to meet you and a couple of your associates at GreenBiz, their event in Seattle, Circularity 23, which was amazing. But first, let's talk about you. Let's talk about your background a little bit. How did you get into packaging?
Currently, right now, I am the packaging innovation lead in our at Google. No? So I oversee overall emerging technologies to help us drive competitive advantage, and that could be through new technology. Usually, this is mainly driven, of course, by sustainability. Sustainability is core within this innovation process, and right now is one of the pillars on how we do things. But of course, also we consider accessibility in packaging, which I can be able to talk a little bit more on that, and digital solutions, so we can be able to put education and learning opportunity also for consumers so they know exactly what to do with our boxes. Google
Mhm.
has many products and services. Maybe one thing that I would like to highlight to your audience is, of course, Google, we know about the search. We know some of us about the cloud system and whatever. Specifically, what our team does, it's the fun part, the toys itself, no, the hardware portion of it.
Right.
We have Pixel phones, we have our home devices,
Hmm.
Fitbit also as trackers and smart watches and also earbuds. So everything, so we can be able to try to embrace an ambient computing where we can leverage hardware, the powerful capabilities of software that Google has along with AI and machine learning on it. So we can provide a thoughtful experience for consumers. Our team owns both structure and graphics, and our main vision is we want to enable a thoughtful, equal, and sustainable unboxing experience for everyone. Before my journey here, I was on Procter and Gamble. I had the opportunity there to learn from the best across 10 years, specifically within the blade and razors business unit. So brands, as your audience may know, Gillette, Venus, Presto Barba, etc. So launching many products out there, learning, and so many systems that can be able to help me also enable some of these solutions within Google today. And outside of the professional side, of course, father, husband, Lego enthusiastic, as you can see on the background there.
I can't wait
So
to
yeah,
show my son. He just put together an amazing Lego last night, and yeah, I'll show him this video. He'll be jealous. Yeah.
great bonding with the kids. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's really what they have done is incredible. The Lego team for future engineers like yourself, it's incredible to learn how things go together and be able to do it yourself at different levels of your life, from young to older like us. And it's an amazing thing. But it sounds like you've spent some time at some big companies with some big resources and got to really learn how to innovate and lead the charge for sustainable packaging. Tell us more about that.
That's been a journey, to be honest with you. I think let me maybe speak a little bit around. So these big companies at the end, they have the opportunity to make such big impacts, and they are part of everyday lives for people.
Mhm.
And of course, that means a great responsibility, such as Spider-Man used to say, isn't it?
Right.
So definitely, we as designers, we embrace the challenge. We need to be sure that sustainability is our generation challenge. And in words of our fearless leader here in Google, Ivy Ross, we as designers, we need to make sure that we can be able to enable that. So yeah, no, I appreciate that, Cory.
Yeah. There's also some challenges being part of a large company. You can't do things small. Things like I've spoken with a few companies about this challenge of capacity. Some of these innovations are maybe not ready for scale yet. Is that something that you've ran into where, gosh, we can't get 1 million of these, or we can't get 500,000 of these yet?
Yeah. Let me maybe speak a little bit more on what we have done here and how that maybe have translated on on the last years that we were work on it. So,
Mhm.
on these particular products, aesthetics is key. And we want to make sure our
Beautiful box.
consumers
Yeah.
validate their purchase decision. They spend a lot of time making sure that they are making this right choice. They are
Mhm.
putting the trust on different companies so they can be able to manage everything in their lives today. So if you're right now spending a couple of $100s in order to have a phone, you are expecting everything to be perfect. Our packaging today has been built around fibers, has been built around making sure that we leverage constructions on sharp edges. We leverage constructions on clean cutouts through perfection, thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
So for years, we have been reducing volume and weight across generations. So our Pixel line, it has been there since 2016. And right now, on our last fall, we went on our seventh iteration there. And through all that time, we have been leveraging molded fiber. We have been leveraging the construction of boxes. And as you mentioned, no, the scale is important so we can be able to keep building that up in a way that is economically viable. So back in 2020, we embraced challenge. We said that because at that point of time, even though our box was mainly done by fibers and papers, some plastic were here and there. And these
Mm.
plastics were required so we can be able to be sure that we protect our box. So again, it can be able to show this premiumness, this
Mhm.
perfection on it. So along this journey on the last 3 years, we have been very passionate. These teams, I'm proud to say that this is the best team I've been with, many professionals, and they know what they do. And we decided that we wanted to maximize the use and the circularity of the material by allowing plastic-free solutions in our boxes. The reason why we decided plastic paper to be the reason to move on this direction was because it is a waste stream that is more evolved in a way, more
Mhm.
mature across different regions. So we wanted to try to scale and enable this solution all across as much as possible. And of course, remove headaches for recyclers that process it and making sure that we are looping valuable materials across the supply chain.
Yeah.
So the challenge was we needed to be sure that at the scale, we still maintain this perfection. We still maintain this thoughtfulness, but we remove the plastics around it. And those were choices of materials that didn't exist. So last fall, particularly this product, we were able to achieve 99% plastic free.
Wow.
So basically, we
Well
just
done.
had some little things there, but it has been the catapult from us. So we can be able to keep leveraging across our portfolio. And we are very excited for these fall product launches that we're going to have. And definitely this is going to be a good point where we can keep also the industry moving forward
That's
on this
excellent.
direction. No?
And for those listening, Miguel is holding up a Google Pixel phone box, and it's beautiful. It looks to be exactly the right size. It's as small as it can be, made out of incredible paper and with beautiful print. And like you've mentioned, molded fiber inside to support and protect. Very impressive packaging. Do you want to open it up to show?
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah.
And I think maybe just, I think one of the things that I love since before I'm in the tech industry, it's this delay gratification where how the box is getting open in a way. I
Yep.
love that it has always been and how being right now as close to the team and how they can be able to spec all these particular requirements and making sure that suppliers also kind of buy to them.
I
But
like that.
also our team has been able, not what you can be able to see it there, it has been able to go edge to edge as much as possible so we can maximize the product to packaging ratio. They have done an amazing work through generations, which has translated on these weight and volume reductions. And at the end is making sure that the product is protected. Nevertheless, you will see a very thin line in here. This thing is as strong as a rock. It will
Wow.
not be able to have any issues when it's shipped anywhere in the world. But I was talking around the innovation path and how sustainability and accessibility is also part of this journey. So our team, along working closely with users, making sure that we have an inclusive experience. Not everyone has the opportunity to have both hands and being able to
Right.
manipulate the box and challenges where you have these close edge to edge kind of solution. Not everyone can be able to try to poke their finger into between and try to
Mhm.
take it out, or most likely have two hands so you can be able to try to catch it. And since you already spent a couple of $100s there, what we decided is also to enable some accessibility solutions where you don't need to pinch, you don't need to try to fit it on, you don't need to roll it out. You can just use different solutions there. So
Well
anyone
done.
can customize those experiences. Either you have visual impairments, dexterity impairments. At the end, part of these thoughtful experiences, making sure that anyone can be able to have an equitable experience and they can
Yeah.
be able to remove all these different solutions in place.
Very intuitive, very easy to open. Well done. Incredible design. I love that delayed gratification that you said. What you're talking about for the people that couldn't see was as you open a Google Pixel, it takes a few seconds. And that is as we say at Aurora Packaging, the promise of what's inside. The anticipation is growing.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love that. Well done. Very nice
Thank you.
design.
We were passionate and fortunate to have this amazing team working on these things.
Yeah. I've been in consumer of your Nest products. As you can see right above me here,
Yeah.
there's one.
No.
Yeah. And we love how they all sync together, including the cameras that we have outside and the doorbell and everything. It's incredible how it all works. But to be very specific, we love the boxes that they came in. The packaging was just like, whoa, they really put a lot of thought into these, and the design, the beauty of them. Even my kids were like, whoa, what's that? I can't wait to open that. So
Exactly.
nice work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you a kind of a oddball question here. What I know this isn't really possible for a lot of what you provide, but what do you think of reusable packaging as a future?
Actually, I think I will not lie. So I believe reusable packaging has a solution there. One of the things that I wanted to look at circularity at Saddle when we met was how much this has been evolved. And I am amazed, to be honest with you, how packaging has been evolved through years. I don't know if you remember back in the day. I'm coming from Mexico, by the way. So back in the day, I remember when in my youth, if I would like to have a Coke and going to the store in a corner of the street, you needed to bring your own glass bottle so you can be able to be sure you can be able to get the latest and greatest. Now, and how that has been coming more and more. I had the opportunity on an event back in February, the PAC Global Organization. They are doing amazing things around bringing inclusiveness around packaging and celebrating across many industries. And I was able to see Coca-Cola there. Emmanuel Carrera, he has been leading the R&D packaging team there, and they were sharing around all how to bring it back on this new world that we have today, leveraging everything, new technology that we have. And they have been running several pilots back there in Texas in order to try to see where it can scale. Oh,
Yeah.
Circularity, going back on what we saw in Seattle, was an eye-opening experience, to be honest with you. I think the first event, my main goal there was to see packaging stuff. And we sent an army of different people within Google. And the first thing was seeing upstream a startup on reusable system sharing everything that they have done and how that the increase of a startup has gone 1,100% on since 2019.
Wow.
That's been explosive, has been massive on it. I believe reusable packaging has a path of electronics. We believe convenience is king. Convenience, and consumers demand not only thoughtful experience to open the box, but also on the responsible disposal of or management of the packaging used. So reusable is a logistic challenge. It was something specifically for our products, since it has certain weight on it. You need to start accounting for carbon impacts. You wanted to make sure that whatever you ship, you're effective the way you ship it. But still, there is this is something that we are actively looking at, specifically on how people evolve. Let's say if I would like to change to my Pixel 7 to Pixel 8 to Pixel 9 to whatever, people also want to make sure that the product that they used to have, it brings some value on their new purchase. So we have seen that you can be able to bring back your product. It will be able to cash it out on like an investment in a way. No? But making sure that this product is going back to us and we can be able to manage it responsibly, be able to remove the different materials that are being used, or not remove them by itself. We can be able to also put it in the market for someone else that is going to still find it valuable. So packaging is key, and reusable system can be able to help on that particular portion.
Yeah.
Also, we see a trend on repairability. There has been so many requirements. IMEA has been leading the front on that particular scenario, and consumers are demanding that they have the choice in order to keep their products to be active as much as possible. So definitely to try to move not only the product itself, but tools going to the users or the product back, so companies can be able to fix them and send it back. Again, packaging can be able to play a role everywhere. Reusable could be a good system there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just need to be sure that we define what success means, what we want to control, and understand the trade-offs, and making sure that it's something that is going to be valuable for the consumer, and it will provide convenience and better benefits.
Yeah, really well said, Miguel. I think the Coke bottle from Mexico is a perfect example of the way that we should look at packaging, and returning your cell phone to resell it to Google is another perfect example of why you keep the box for your Pixel phone and then get a new one in a new box, and and then reuse that one when you send that one back. And then this, not only is the item sustainable, but so is the packaging. It's a great circular system. And I think it's so great to see companies like Google leading the charge there. Well done.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. What's the future? What are you excited about? Is there a new innovation that you've seen that you're like, I like that, I could use that somehow?
No, there's so many. I think, again, these shows, these trade shows there are definitely a place where you can be able to start picking up different things. And I think the beauty of packaging is you don't need to just have your mindset only what technology companies are doing. There is so much that many companies are doing, and packaging allow these interconnection. And one thing that I love about it is you don't need to be expert on everything. You need to be able to see where connections exist and be able to ask the right question, challenge paradigms. So what I believe the future of sustainable packaging is, less is more. I think at the end, yes, packaging is needed. Enabling systems that maximize the use of materials while protecting the products are going to be essential on this journey. Everyone is aiming to be zero carbon for many companies. Different timings across 2030, 2040, 2050, some of them. And of course, different challenges are across, because as today, different system in order to try to move products across the trade, it has more challenges on some places rather than the others.
Right.
But on the other side, there is no better packaging than the one that you don't need. So really making those connections and really understanding where refillable or reusable opportunities exist also will be key. On our side, when needed, a certified source of materials, making sure that whatever you are pulling your materials there are going to be able to harvest and come back properly. Responsible disposed, and the use of recycled materials, maximize these closed loops on a circular economy are going to be essential. Reusable system, as I said, is going to have a specific role, and it will base on the needs. Outside of packaging, of the physical realm itself, outside of the actual box in the structure, I think one thing that companies are considering, are doing very well, some of them, but we need to keep considering is education. Not only education for the consumers that we sell the product, but also education for policymakers, education for regulators. So really all and effective solutions for these very complex problems. And lastly, I think a partnership is essential. Forums like this one, making sure that different professionals, even though you are not seeing this particular, you are not of this sector, you can be able to hear about what is happening out there. You can be able to connect, and hopefully at the end, you can be able to spark under your audience, maybe an email here and there, a LinkedIn message or whatever. That is going to be key, because at the end, this is not going to be a problem that is going to be solved by one Google, by one Procter, by it's going to be something that we all need to look together, and we need to understand the intricacies, the different things that needs to happen. Companies can be able to accelerate these needs.
Very true. Well said. We all must work together. Packaging is nearly $1 trillion business. And I think even though Google is a great big company. Everyone needs to be a part of the solution. Everyone needs to consider, like you said, where is this going to end up? Is there recycling available for this in that area? Is there a return system possible? Or very true, very well said. Exciting stuff going on in this world. Are you going to any shows coming up? Any Pack Expo in Las
I
Vegas?
definitely have my eye on Pack Expo, definitely,
Good,
and I was working my registration there, and I
good.
one of my colleagues that I used to work in PNG, I think he's on Amazon right now, making great stuff there back on Europe. He invited me on their sustainability summit on Amsterdam. I think he's going to be in November. So I'm
Yeah,
putting my letter there so we can also try
I'll be there.
to be
I'm
awesome.
I'm speaking there. I'm so excited about it. Yeah, Tim
Awesome,
Sykes
Cory.
from Packaging Europe invited me, and I said, "Oh yes, I would love to."
Definitely.
So,
Hopefully we can see us there. That's awesome.
oh, Miguel, that'd be
Congrats to
amazing.
you.
We'll look forward to that, sir. Well,
Definitely.
thank you again. I appreciate your wisdom. It was fun to see all your awesome Legos, and thank you for showing us the Pixel packaging. Google is doing great things in the world of sustainable packaging. Thank you.
Thank you, Cory, for having me.
And thank you, Aurora Packaging Solutions, for sponsoring this podcast. And stay tuned for more.